Hey. So it's so funny. I was out here and I'm here looking out in the distance and I'm thinking to myself, man, you know what's so true about life? Is that sometimes we find ourselves in this place where we're like, my story is over and done with. I've already been there. I've already done that. And I was looking out at this ocean and just looking around me and I'm thinking to myself, the reality is I'm actually at the end of my story. No, I'm not at the end of my story. I'm at the beginning. Yes. It's like, for those of you who think that you've already lived an entire life and like you're done and like right now is the time to plateau, it's never a time to plateau. It can't be. You know why? Because like our stories are constantly evolving. Our stories are constantly making and finding new light and new places to shine and be. Like I was looking out at the world and I'm like, what's so crazy about this? Like take a moment to look at this with me. Yeah, like I was looking at that, what I was thinking? I was like, oh my gosh, the world is so much bigger than Tiffany Largie. And not only is the world so much bigger than Tiffany Largie, I'm like, the world is so much bigger than me. And more importantly, I've not even begun to scratch the surface. So because like I haven't begun to scratch the surface and because I know that the world's bigger than me, it's like I kind of have to own this fact, which is I'm at the beginning of my story. And I feel like we all have this responsibility to not just own our story, that's one part, own the past, but more importantly, be stewards of rewriting the story, not rewriting, writing new chapters, right? Writing new chapters, creating new beginnings, finding new depths, thickening the plot. You know what I mean? Like, because there's only just this life. And I think for me, the story actually comes to an end when we stop living. When there's no more breath in this body is when I want to stop telling the story, or where I would like to stop developing it, where I want to stop creating it. Like until then, I want to keep writing it. I never want my story to be the same way that it was. Like I never want my story to be the same today as it was yesterday or that it'll be tomorrow. And I encourage you to be the same. You know why? Because I know one thing's for sure. I know that everything changes when I stop thinking small. And I know that so many times in my life I felt like, man, my story's enough. It's kind of done. It's finished. There's nothing more to be said. It's not really of any more interest. I should stop telling it. Or more importantly, forget that. Let me tell you the next part of it. It's just living in the past, okay? So now we have this thing where it's like, man, imagine if we wouldn't live there, right? Like imagine if we wouldn't live in the past and we continue to rewrite our story and we continue to add new chapters and new pages. It's like, oh, Tiffany Largie, I think you're thinking small. Yes, that's it. So kind of like how I've made a decision, like no longer am I going to allow myself to think small. I've got to own this really new fact, which is, man, I'm at the beginning of this story. And for those of you who feel like, man, I don't know where I am at the story, let me tell you this, your story is constantly evolving. And every day you should be striving and looking for new pages and new words and new thoughts and new ideas. And here's the next part of this thing, the picture. At minute, 74, you get it? Like we'd all be in trouble, hands down. So yeah, not just new words, new pages, but also new characters, hands down. Constantly looking to evolve the story, and I hope you're gonna evolve yours too. From the West Coast, from my home to yours, right? That's how you say it? This is not my home actually, I'm just at the beach. This is totally not my home at all in any capacity. But I'm telling you what, I tell you this moment for sure has told me, hey, you know what? You probably need to be writing a new story, because anytime you get to see something like this, it's almost like something where you're like, you know what? You probably need to be considering doing something different. I love you to pieces. I'll see you soon. Bye.